This is a fan-generated show. If you'd like to support us, please go to jamieglazov.com. Also, don't forget to subscribe to our new Rumble channel. All your support is greatly appreciated.
Hello, ladies and gentlemen. I'm thrilled to announce the release of my new book, Obama's True Legacy: How He Transformed America. There's a reason why Mike Huckabee calls it a ferocious and chilling read. Order it now at Amazon.com or at FrontPageMag.com.
Robert Spencer here, and the topic is Iran. It has now been, at the time of this video, nearly a month since the Israelis apparently took out Hamas top dog Ismail Haniyeh in a highly secure guest house in Tehran, where the Islamic Republic puts up foreign dignitaries and visiting heads of state. This, of course, was a tremendous embarrassment to the Iranian regime, and the Ayatollah Khamenei immediately vowed strong retaliation. He put on Twitter an old tweet, actually, that he had put up on October 3rd, 2023. He put it back up, pinned to his account at the top, saying, "The Zionist regime is about to go." That was on August 1st. And the Iranian media was promising big, massive news of extraordinary magnitude around the same time. Now it's been nearly a month since Haniyeh was killed, and we still haven't seen any response. Does it mean that there will be no response? Some people think so. The Biden-Harris regime is trying to convince people that the Iranians have been scared off by the strength and resolve and determination of the United States. The U.S. sent some ships over to the Middle East, and the Biden people have been talking to the Iranians, and they want us to think that they have presented such a strong deterrent face that the Iranians are not going to carry out a major retaliatory strike against Israel. This is almost certainly false. We don't know, but it's almost certainly false. In the first place, because the Biden regime is one of the weakest administrations that has ever been in power in Washington. And they have pursued a relentless policy of appeasement toward Iran. Barack Obama got the crazy idea after the destruction of Saddam Hussein's Iraq that the Islamic Republic of Iran could become a stabilizing force in the whole Middle Eastern region, and he began to empower it. Trump, to his credit, thought that was a ridiculous idea and began to roll it back. But the Biden people, since it was just Barack Obama's third term, returned to that policy with a vengeance. And they have been so craven in their support for the Islamic Republic that they even sent $10 billion in unfrozen funds to Tehran after the October 7th attacks, even though any fool would know that that money would go to Hamas and Hezbollah. So the United States of America has essentially been funding the Iranian jihad against Israel. And the Iranians are supposed to be so scared of the Biden administration that they turn around and call off their plans for a major retaliatory strike against Israel after Haniyeh is killed. It doesn't add up. It doesn't make sense. It strains credulity beyond the breaking point. There is, however, another possibility, and it makes the Biden regime look even worse. I don't know if it's true. I'm not saying it's true when I'm presenting it here, but it does come from credible sources. And the problem we have is that the Biden regime is so weak, so wrong-headed, so pro-Iran that it could well be true. The story comes from a Kuwaiti news article that was reported in Fox News by an Iranian dissident, Amir Fakhravar. And Amir Fakhravar wrote about how the Kuwaiti press, quoting unnamed Iranian sources, which admittedly does cast a doubt onto the whole story, they said that top-level State Department officials went to Tehran right after Haniyeh was killed in order to assure the Iranians that the Americans did not know the Israelis were going to do this. Now, that's bad enough in itself. Think about that for a minute. Imagine, okay, in the first place, remember, or you may not know, but during World War II, the Americans scored a great tactical victory by killing the commander of the Japanese naval forces, Admiral Yamamoto. Now, imagine if the British, our allies in World War II, had gone to Tokyo right after the killing of Admiral Yamamoto to assure the Japanese that they didn't know it was going to happen and had nothing to do with it. The Americans would rightly have been furious with the British if they did that. Allies are supposed to present a united front and not go running to the enemy that has vowed to destroy both of them, saying, oh no, please don't hurt us. We didn't have anything to do with this action by our ally. But that's what the Americans did. The Americans went to Tehran and they spoke to high-level Iranian government officials and assured them they had nothing to do with the killing of Haniyeh. Now, that much of it seems to be confirmed because Antony Blinken, the Secretary of State for the Biden regime, did say that a high-level American delegation from the State Department did indeed go to Iran for talks, or I believe it was they met in some neutral area for talks with the Iranians right after the killing of Haniyeh in order to pacify the situation. Now, it does not seem to me unbelievable in the least that the Biden regime would think that it was a way to pacify the situation would be think that a viable way to pacify the situation would be to throw the Israelis under the bus and say, we had nothing to do with this and we disavow it and so on. But Fakhravar says that it gets even worse, that the story says that the Americans gave the Iranians the names of the Mossad agents who took out Haniyeh, which of course would mean essentially ensuring that these agents would be tortured and killed. Now, I certainly hope this isn't true. The State Department denied that. And yet, the Biden regime has been so pro-Iran and so anti-Israel. The Biden regime has betrayed Israel on numerous occasions, allowing it to be denounced at the UN instead of exercising the veto and making sure that it would not be, in accepting credulously and without a shred of evidence the Hamas casualty figures that support the ridiculous claim that the Israelis have been carrying out a genocide in Gaza, by playing up to elements in the United States, such as Congresswoman Rashida Tlaib and Nihad Awad of the Hamas-linked Council on American Islamic Relations, who have been demanding that the United States press Israel into accepting a ceasefire. A ceasefire might sound great, but actually, the Israelis have vowed to destroy Hamas as a fighting force. And if there is a ceasefire, Hamas would be able to survive. So these calls for a ceasefire are actually direct calls for Israel to surrender and to be defeated and to allow Hamas to survive so that it can strike and kill more Israeli civilians on another day. Given all that background of how the United States of America has treated our ostensible ally, Israel, is it really beyond the realm of possibility that the Americans would have given up the names of Mossad agents to Iran? Fakhravar wrote about this in Fox News. He thinks that it happened. The Kuwaitis, they're not allies of Iran, they're not interested in amplifying Iranian propaganda. They apparently think that it happened. And it does, unfortunately, ring true in an age when we are governed by traitors, saboteurs, cowards, and appeasers. And so we can hope that ultimately, in the end, the truth will come out about this. But in the meantime, we know that this treasonous class in Washington is responsible for a great deal of evil, and this could be more. I'm Robert Spencer.